Journal of Career Assessment homepage. The JCA provides methodological, sound, empirically based studies focusing on the process and techniques by which counselors gain understanding of the individual faced with making informed career decisions. The journal covers various techniques, tests, inventories, ratings, and so on, and direct observational methods used in scientifically based practice to provide an improved understanding of career decision making. So at first, a few introductory comments. I am not pretend to represent Bruce Walsh. I am relying on my experience in being the editorial board members of the first 5 journals, and I counted 68 papers in these journals, and in addition being an ad hoc reviewer for additional journals. Finally, I will focus on issues related to career assessment. So we can see the interplay is obvious if you know how to play Scrabble. And in my afternoon session, I will focus on the role of ICT in contributing, facilitating the integration between theory, research, and practice, which I am a big believer in using ICT. Explore the role of ICT in improving career assessment. Describe the role of ICT in designing evidence-based career interventions. ICT-based interventions are very structured. Demonstrate the contribution of ICT to the integration, and discuss the unique and critical role of ICT in facilitating integration. So I try to think about what I regard as a criteria for the quality of theories. It leads to testable and refutable predictions, stimulate research, and have practical implications. Regarding research, internal and external validity, appropriate participants. And I want to highlight this because I am not excited about reading papers with participants who were located using MTurk or Psych 101 subject, because can we generalize from these participants to the real world to our the clients? And informative conclusions. And for practice, it is theory-based, client satisfaction, evidence-based, and transferable interventions. Types of papers in the JSA. I must admit, I had no time to count the various combinations. Pure theoretical papers are relatively few, mostly special issues. Empirical, most of the papers in the JSA. Practice-oriented, evaluation of interventions. Combined and comprehensive, desirable but challenging. And I said I did not count the number of papers who could be categorized to each of these. Integration has bidirectional implications, of course. And when I focus on career-related assessment, I can think about unidimensional assessments, the results of which is a single total score, and multidimensional, without a total score like the SDS or the Big Five, with an informative total score, like the career thought inventory, the career decision-making self-efficacy, or the career decision-making difficulties questionnaire, and without an informative total score, but an informative partial score based on some of the scales. I decided to use an example of our own work to demonstrate how theory, research, and practice can be integrated, and I will describe the dysfunctional beliefs about career decision-making which we were working on recently. The starting point is in fact practice. Nouveau, 30 years ago, discussed 10 irrational expectations, which we prefer to call dysfunctional beliefs, theory, the cognitive therapy approach, and previous research. And there are 3 optional starting points for integration. theory, research, or practice. And in this case, the starting point was practice. Neveu's 10 irrational expectations. And if you read carefully these expectations, you can see that they can be categorized into 4 groups concerning vocations, career counselors, self, and the decision-making process. The second starting point was our own research related to the career decision-making difficulty questionnaire, when we were frustrated that consistently the internal consistency reliability of the dysfunctional belief scale, one of the 10 scales of the CTDQ, it was consistently low in our research, in other people's research. It was consistent. So there was something which bothered us. On the other hand, the dysfunctional belief scale score was the highest, among the highest in the 10 scale scores. So it represents that people really, many have dysfunctional beliefs. And finally, we found, and it is trivial, people are unaware that they have dysfunctional beliefs. The third starting point was previous measures involving dysfunctional beliefs, the career thought inventory, which has 3 scales, the career beliefs inventory of Krumboltz, 25 scales, not really practical, and career myth scale with 4 factors, which emerged empirically. Interestingly, in some of these measures, there were items that were not classified to either of the factors of scales. So this highlighted that we should invest and try to do something. So analyzing all this data, we came up with 6 categories of dysfunctional beliefs. The role of chance or fate, criticality of the decision, it's a one-time decision, aspiration for a choice perfection, the role of significant others in the decision, the role of professional help, you, the counselor, you will tell me what to do, and the impact of gender. So we developed a questionnaire, and we used the data of 900 young adults deliberating about their future, and we found good internal consistency reliabilities of the 6 scales. Interestingly, the variance accounted for by the 6 was very similar, 9 to 11. So each of them contributed to the same amount. Using a different sample, we cluster analyzed the item, and we found a perfect clustering. And then we also use confirmatory effect analysis on a different sample, and we found that the 18-6 model, which suggests that there are 6 scales, but which cannot be combined to a single total score, account best for the data. In fact, we used also another criteria, comparing decided, partially decided, and undecided students, and we found eta square of 0. So the total score does not differentiate between these groups. However, the scales differentiated. Okay, so it seems that this is an instrument which emerged from practice, but it is now theoretically based. It is supported and has a reasonable number of scales, 6 in the questionnaires. So, the challenges in integrating theory, research, and practice. Explicating the theoretical rationale of assessments, promoting multidimensional assessment, testing the rational and informativeness of the total score, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Using multiple approaches to assess the quality of the measures, be meticulous about translated or adapted assessment, and effectively incorporating in multidimensional assessment into the career counseling practice. Opportunities. As I mentioned, using ICT can facilitate the integration of theory, research, and practice by increasing access to appropriate groups, students deliberating about their majors, seniors looking for a job, adults considering career change. Experts' knowledge can be translated into structured interventions. Effectiveness of these structures interventions can be measured. Which type of difficulties can be reduced by what interventions to which clients. And the conclusion can be used to upgrade the interventions and refine theory. Finally, recommendation for journal editorial policy. It's mine, not Bruce Walsh. I believe that he will agree. Theories. Encourage refuting theories, not only confirming them. It is my opinion that an additional study supporting, let's say, the hexagonal structure of Holland's RIASEC, it's not really advancing us. Comparing theories, for example, comparing the CIP and our PIC, pre-screening in-depth exploration and choice models, in terms of their common and distinctive features, this might be interesting. Research, encourage multidimensional assessment, innovative design, using appropriate groups, as I mentioned, and encourage multiple studies. Practice, encourage testing the incremental value of interventions and measures. Not to say, I employed a certain intervention, it accounted for so-and-so % of variance. But test. This is the traditional intervention. I propose a novel one. To what degree the novel intervention contributes above and beyond the traditional intervention. Encourage pinpointing the specific components of intervention that makes a difference. And in general, encourage dialogues, discussions, comments, reactions, and rejoinders in the regarding papers that were published in the journal. Thank you.